Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Today we're flying domestically in India, and we're obviously not just taking any airline, but we're going to experience the infamous Air India Express. Sometimes they stay in the air, and sometimes not. We will see. But as the famous Greek philosopher Zeno of Citium once said, you only live once, man. So let's go. For the outrageous price of about 35 USD, we're flying from the capital of Rajasthan up to Delhi Indira Gandhi International Airport. As a reference, 35 USD is the price of 35 haircuts in India. Therefore, for such an exorbitant amount, my expectations are obviously super high. What could go wrong? From a dirty airport and zero organization to some quite surprising scenes on board. Flying domestically in India as a Westerner, let's see how it goes. And the first shock already comes with the ride to the airport. See, our hotel arranged an auto rickshaw for us, a small tuk-tuk, and we paid for it up front. However, the driver and his friend weren't satisfied with the tip and demanded an extra 2000 rupee. So, if you find yourself in a similar situation, make sure to agree on the price in advance and stand for your ground. Tuk-tuk drivers often have tricks up their sleeves to get more money out of you, and they will act super nice, but afterwards they will try to scam you. But remember, not all drivers are like this. Many try to make an honest living and have families to support. So if you want to give a tip, go ahead. But don't let yourself be taken advantage of. And yeah, I know that don't let yourself be taken advantage of sounds like one of those generic travel tips, like for example, try to look like a local. Because what the hell am I supposed to do in order to look like a local? How should that work exactly? I have blue eyes and my skin is paler than whatever this is. Even a blind guy will know that I'm a tourist because guess what? I am a tourist. What are you going to do about it, Elizabeth?
I'm going home after shower.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, nice.
Bring new rickshaw for my on rickshaw.
Okay.
This is rent rickshaw, but
Next time
I will show you safety free.
Yeah, okay.
Unicorn.
So, after getting my heart broken by the driver that I thought was just nice to me, we step into the domestic terminal of Jaipur International Airport. Serving the 10th largest city of India, JAI handles about 5 million passengers annually. Jaipur Airport consists of 2 terminals and is served by 12 airlines, Air India Express being one of them. Their check-in desks are conveniently located near the entrance. Although there are some waiting times, they aren't too bad, and the agent is rather friendly. Overall, the check-in experience is decent for such a low price. But don't worry, we'll soon see what we really paid for. But first, let's head to the business class lounge accessible with a priority pass or a lounge invitation. The culinary selection consisted of water and empty trays, but since the floor had some lively residents that preferred the dirt, we didn't have much of an appetite anyway. All in all, it was a well-rounded lounge experience that would have been definitely worth $25 per person. When it's time to head to the gate, we were surprised that there was a neat line, tranquility, and everyone was waiting patiently to board. No, obviously not. It was freaking mayhem. Non-stop Dan and all those pottery reporters would probably faint on the spot. But if you want to see someone raw-dogging shady budget airlines around the globe without sugarcoating anything, watch my videos instead. But I'm not gonna lie, after about 45 minutes past the planned departure time, things started to get a bit dull and finally a 1-hour delay was announced. A quick check on the Flightradar24 app revealed that our plane hadn't even left Delhi yet. It was clear this was going to be a long day, or at the very least, a short connection in Delhi. Yet, I have no one to blame but myself, because in most cases you get what you pay for, and today was no exception. So I decided to take it like a man, which of course means leaving my wife to wait alone while I head upstairs to do some plane spotting. I'm a real gentleman, you know. I have long forgotten the time and was just wondering about the meaning of life when I finally saw our 737 MAX 8 of Air India Express arriving. Delivered 5 years ago to a Chinese carrier with the promising name of OK Airways, this misconstruction of aeronautical engineering was just recently leased by Air India Express. Let's go. Even after the new scheduled departure time, we are still stuck at the gate. And when boarding finally opened, it was a free-for-all. People that were sitting on the chairs in the terminal obviously didn't feel any shame whatsoever to just push ahead of all those who had been standing in line for well over an hour. Unlike at the Indigo flight boarding next to us, there are no barriers or staff to maintain order. So it's a bit of a chaos with everyone desperate to be the first on the bus to finally escape the gate and get to the plane. Again, it might sound like I'm complaining non-stop, but I'm really not trying to cry like a little. I understand that at this price, I shouldn't expect much more. This flight happened several months ago and honestly, it doesn't really bother me and I didn't suffer any loss in damage or something, but I'm just sharing it all raw and unprotected because I thought some of you might find it interesting. Because there is obviously nothing more interesting in the world than to watch some dude trying a random airline in India, right? So don't take everything so seriously, bro. As we finally board the plane, we are greeted by the crew with warm smiles and hands pressed together in a friendly namaste. The chaos doesn't end at the gate though, since the seat search is a bit of a circus with many people sitting in the wrong seats and looking confused. Despite my reservations about the 737 MAX, the cabin makes a good impression. It's well appointed with clean and comfortable seats, but there's a funny looking box which I can't quite identify since there is no in-flight entertainment. Maybe that's where the Boeing engineers installed the MCAS. Other than that, the cabin leaves little to complain about. There are adjustable headrests and ample pockets. The tray tables are clean, just like the rest of the airplane, making it a higher standard than your average budget airline in the West. We even get complimentary water before takeoff, though that might be due to the huge delay. Almost 2 hours after our scheduled departure, we're still sitting on the tarmac. With time to look out the window, I notice passengers boarding the Air India plane next to us being guided under the wings. This happened on our flight as well, and it is surprising since in most places that area is restricted and ground staff get upset if you walk there. I'm also surprised to see so many random planes here. I didn't expect to see the Dutch-Turkish holiday airline so often in India, but it seems they are wet leased. But now, let's stop talking and enjoy this magnificent takeoff. Feel free to skip this part if you want 7 years of bad luck. Maybe you're wondering, Johnny, do you like flying on the 737 MAX? Well, I'm glad you asked, because no, I f***ing hate it. For obvious reasons, the takeoff phase with the 737 MAX just isn't my favorite. If you share my feelings about this plane, Air India Express might not be your go-to airline. Because more than half of their fleet is made up of 737 MAX 8s, with plenty of more on the way. But there's more than just new planes, because the Tata Group, who bought AIX parent company Air India Limited, decided it was time for a makeover and rolled out and rebranded Air India Express on October 18, 2023. They promised a fresh, vibrant look targeting India's budget-conscious flyer. A new website came along with the new branding, and to be honest, I really like it. And like many, I hope that Tata is making the Air India Group great again. Tata also bought AirAsia India, which was renamed to AIX Connect and is being merged with Air India Express. Not stopping just at a new look, Air India Express is shaking things up with its services too. They're adding hot ovens to all their aircraft to serve up hot meals and have introduced Express Light fares for those who travel light. So, if you're feeling adventurous and don't mind the quirks of the 737 MAX, Air India Express might be the airline for you. Being a low-cost airline, catering is not included in the standard fare of Air India Express. However, the flight is only about an hour, so I guess you will survive. Other than that, you have the possibility to purchase a meal in advance, online, and on longer flights you can also purchase food on board. Another thing that is important on longer flights are the toilets. However, on this flight, things got a bit weird. Standing here for 15 minutes now, almost the flight time. The doors are still locked. Nobody's here. I think the other crew is in front of the galley, and we lost the check of those two passengers. But, yeah.
I'm in the lavatory now. I went to the front gate to ask crew if they can check toilets, and turned out they not unlocked.
When I finally got into the bathroom, it was surprisingly clean, though the lack of soap was a letdown. Seriously, a guy needs to wash his hands properly. Just some minutes later, we are already descending towards Indira Gandhi International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world.
कुर्सी पर बैठे हैं और अब आप मोबाइल फोन का उपयोग कर सकते हैं।
We arrive at the remote gate and are herded onto a bus heading to Terminal 3. Flying with Air India Express was an adventure, no doubt. For just $35, it's a steal. Comparing it to SpiceJet, I'd choose Air India Express any day. If you're curious about my SpiceJet experience, check out the video in the link right here. Thanks for watching and see you next week.